All right, everybody, this is a guided walkthrough for Natas level 10 from the Natas CTF game from overthewire.org. So the web application over here, it says, for security reasons, we now filter on certain characters. Find words containing something something. We've got a source code link, and we'll be taking a look at that in just a second. So we can type in the word test, we can click on search. It'll give us a bunch of words. So what is going on with this web app? If we take a look at the source code, we'll see that it's actually very similar to the previous level. So this is still a web application that runs the pass-through function using the key or whatever we provide to the web app in the post request. Actually, I think this is a GET request, but this is a request nonetheless. It runs the grep command on dictionary.txt to get a bunch of words. So this is OS command injection again. And so OS command injection is, well, let's recap what OS command injection is. So OS command injection is a web app vulnerability where arbitrary OS commands can be performed on a web server through a web interface. OS command injection is a serious vulnerability that can often lead to complete compromise of the web server, and if so, the web server can be used as a foothold to attack other machines in the network. So we're basically using the web application to run other operating system commands. So we're going to be using this to get the password for the next level. So in the previous level, we used this payload over here to try to read the password for the target level, which is Natas level number 10. If we try to run this, it's not going to work. So if we try the same payload over here, and instead we're trying to read the password for Natas level 11, which is the next level, it's going to say input contains an illegal character. So it contains an illegal character. What does that mean? We have to take a look at the web app source code over here to figure out what that means. So there's an if condition inside of the PHP code here. So if preg match on the key. So it basically looks for some characters inside of the key that we provide. So if there is the bracket, or if there are brackets, actually no, it's looking for these characters right here. So it's looking for the semicolon, it's looking for the pipe character, and it's looking for the and character. And if any of these match whatever we provide in the key, it'll say input contains an illegal character. Otherwise, it's going to run the pass-through function to run the grep command on dictionary.txt. So what we need to do is we need to bypass this filter in order to get the password for the next level. So let's talk about how we do that. So okay, so this is what we're going to do. So because it's using the grep command on dictionary.txt, we can actually use the grep command as intended to read the other file. Because then it's one thing that people don't understand, well, one thing that people often don't use when they're using Linux commands is that you can run, a lot of Linux commands can be run on multiple files at once. So we can run it on dictionary.txt, and we can also run it on other files. So let me demonstrate. Okay, so say we've got a file here called blockchain.py. We can run the grep command on it. So run grep on blockchain.py, and we're going to run it looking for a specific pattern. So let's just say that we're looking for the letter A inside of blockchain.py. So it finds all of the A's inside of the file. And let's say we want to run the grep command on blockchain.py and also on etc password. We can run it on both files at once. So here we can also run run whatever we want on dictionary.txt, but we can also look for the patterns inside of the password file. So the password file is going to be this one over here. Let's talk about it. So the first part of the payload we're going to use is the letter we're going to look for. So an argument to the grep command searching for the letter A. So we're also going to point to the file that we want to read, which is etc. Natas webpass Natas level 11, which is this over here. The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to comment out everything else. So instead of looking at dictionary.txt, we're actually going to grep inside of here, and we're going to figure out if there's an A inside of it. If there's an A inside of the password, then we'll be able to read the file. But if there's no A inside the file, we can actually look for the letter B, the letter C, etc., until we actually hit a match, and then we'll read the file that we're supposed to be looking for. Okay, let's go back to the application. It's over here. Okay, so input contains an illegal character. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to just try to look for the letter A inside of the password file here. And we're not going to look, so because we can use the hash symbol here, we're not going to look in the dictionary.txt file. So when we click on search, we get the password for the next level. Because there's a letter A in here, where's letter A? Here it is. So if for some reason there was no letter A, we could look for letter B, the letter C, we look for numbers until we actually hit a match. So this is the password for the next level. Okay, so everybody, that was a guided walkthrough for Natas level 10 from the Natas CTF game from overthewire.org. If you enjoyed this guided walkthrough, please click on the like and subscribe buttons on the video and leave a comment underneath the video. But until next time, HackerFrogs out!
Hey there, HackerFrogs! Are you enjoying this workshop? Learning new concepts and skills? If so, there's a way you can support the channel, and it's totally free. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. Also, click on the like button. And if you have questions or comments on this workshop, please leave them below the video. Thanks for listening. And now, back to our scheduled programming.